Welcome to True Crime Stories, where we explore the most complex and chilling criminal cases. Today's episode takes us to Florida in September 2003, with the story of the tragic death of Emily Kenyon, a devoted woman, and her husband's dark secrets that led to a terrible end. Emily Kenyon, 37 years old, residing in West Palm Beach, Florida, famous for his kindness and special love for snakes. She works as a manager at a local reptile store, where she cares for a variety of snakes, including pythons and the rare green mambo. Emily is not only passionate about snakes but also loves gardening, and often spends time taking care of the plants and flowers in her garden. Emily attended the University of South Florida, where she studied biology and met Marlon Kenyon. After graduation, Emily and Marlon got married and moved into a cozy house with a large backyard, perfect for tending to her garden and snakes. Emily has a very close relationship with her family, especially with her younger brother Brian, who works in Orlando as a teacher. Emily is active in the community. She volunteers at the local animal shelter and participates in organizing charity events. She is a member of the West Palm Beach Garden Club, where she regularly shares gardening tips with friends and neighbors. Everyone describes Emily as friendly, helpful, and full of life. In September 2003, Emily's life changed completely when she discovered that her husband, Marlon, had secretly married another woman, Zara Pinnock, a gynecologist whom Emily knew. This discovery shocked Emily greatly. She shared this information with her close friend and colleague Robert Banjovac, who also had a passion for snakes. Robert is worried about Emily and advises her to be careful in the current situation. Despite being stressed and miserable, Emily decides to confront Marlon about his secret and find a way to resolve this difficult situation. While trying to cope with the situation, Emily maintains her job at the reptile store and takes care of her garden. She also attended a community fair where she displayed snakes and was delighted to see the surprised faces of children. Emily also discovers that she is pregnant, which further increases her emotional turmoil. She plans to visit her brother Brian in Orlando to seek advice and share about her condition. However, Emily never had the chance to carry out this plan. In the early morning of September 10, 2003, the sky over West Palm Beach was overcast with dark clouds signaling rain. Around 7:30 a.m., Linda Ross, a neighbor of Emily's, was walking her dog when she noticed something unusual. Linda usually sees Emily working in the garden at this time, but today the backyard is unusually quiet. Linda decided to check, and as she approached the backyard fence, she saw Emily lying on the ground near her favorite rose bush. Linda felt something was wrong, called Emily but received no response. With increasing anxiety, Linda opened the gate and ran to Emily's side, only to find that Emily was lying in a pool of blood. At approximately 7:45 a.m., on September 10, 2003, the sky over West Palm Beach remained overcast with signs of impending rain. Emergency personnel arrived at the crime scene after receiving an emergency call from Linda Ross, a neighbor of Emily Kenyon. Linda, after discovering Emily lying motionless in a pool of blood with a bloody golf club nearby, called 911 in a panic, her hands shaking as she provided information to the operator. Paramedics arrived and confirmed that Emily had died. Linda, still in shock, was asked to sit down to calm down while the police started working. The crime scene was quickly covered by police cars and the curiosity of neighbors who were interested in the incident. News of Emily's death quickly spread throughout local media, including the Palm Beach Post, leaving the West Palm Beach community in shock and disbelief. Emily's death created a huge shock in the community. where people mourned the loss of a beloved member. The West Palm Beach Police Department, under the command of Detectives James Avery and Avery Brooks, responded to the crime scene immediately after being notified. Detective Avery, known for his keen eye and calm demeanor, was in charge of investigating the scene. His partner, Detective Brooks, is meticulous and methodical, always careful to preserve evidence. The house's backyard, which was once a beautiful garden, is now a crime scene with blood splattered on the lawn and an overturned vase lying next to Emily's body. Detectives quickly realized that the blood-stained golf club appeared to be the murder weapon. Emily's body showed signs of a violent attack with multiple wounds on her head and upper body, indicating an intense struggle. The scene was chaotic with broken flower pots and gardening tools scattered everywhere, evidence of a serious attack. Forensic experts arrived shortly afterward to collect evidence. They carefully collected blood samples from the golf club and any possible DNA evidence, taking photos from every angle to make sure no details were missed. The crime scene unit also dusted to find fingerprints on the golf club and nearby surfaces. The investigation begins with Detective Avery and Detective Brooks interviewing Linda Ross, the person who discovered Emily's body. Linda, although still in shock, provided a clear and detailed statement about how she found Emily lying face down in the garden and immediately called 911. Linda's statement helped detectives determine the timeline, the initial period of the incident. Detectives then continued to investigate the neighborhood, interviewing other neighbors to see if anyone had seen or heard anything unusual that morning. Several neighbors reported hearing loud arguments the night before, but no one saw anyone entering or leaving the Kenyon property. Inside the house, detectives searched for signs of forced entry, but did not find any signs that Emily might have known the attacker. They also checked Emily's personal items, including her wallet and cell phone, and found they were still in the house, ruling out robbery as a motive. Detectives James Avery and Avery Brooks know that finding the perpetrator is a top priority. They quickly realize that personal motives may be the key to solving the case. To learn more, they decided to interrogate those closest to Emily Kenyon, starting with Marlon Kenyon, her husband. Marlon Kenyon, 35, seems to have the perfect life. He's a successful financial advisor in West Palm Beach, known for his charm and good looks. However, behind that perfect exterior, Marlon is hiding a dark secret. Not only did he marry Emily, but he also secretly married another woman, Zara Pinnock, who lives in Miami. Emily had only discovered this secret a few days before she was murdered, and the discovery caused serious strain in their relationship. What made the situation even more serious was that neither wife knew Marlon had a secret career as a gay adult film star, operating under the name Ash Ketchum. As soon as Emily's body was discovered, Marlon was taken to the West Palm Beach Police Department for questioning. During the interrogation, Marlon appeared calm and composed. When asked about his alibi, he said he was in Miami on business and stayed at the Hilton Downtown Hotel. The detective confirmed that Marlon was indeed present at this hotel, but the alibi timeline remains suspicious. It is possible that Marlon drove back to West Palm Beach to commit the crime and then returned to Miami. Marlon's calmness during the interrogation made detectives feel concerned. Their feeling is that Marlon may have been well prepared for the investigation and his answers. Despite this, Marlon continued to insist that he loved Emily and would never hurt her. The detectives realize that Marlon has a strong motive. Emily's discovery threatens to expose his secret life, and he has much to lose. However, detectives need more evidence to prove Marlon's guilt. Even though Marlon has been released, he is still under surveillance. Detectives Avery and Brooks continued to investigate Marlon's background, examining his financial records, interviewing co-workers, and even contacting Zara Pinnock, Marlon's second wife, to look for any clues. Any information that could link you to the case. Zara Pinnock, 30, is a gynecologist known for her dedication and patient care at her Miami clinic. She is a respected person in her field and is completely unaware of Marlon's secret life. When detectives Avery and Brooks approached Zara on September 12, 2003, she was shocked to learn about Emily's murder and Marlon's deception. Zara is unaware of the fact that Marlon is married to another woman, and this further complicates the situation. With the progress of the investigation, detectives hope to soon discover decisive evidence to bring the offender to justice and restore justice to Emily Kenyon. Detectives James Avery and Avery Brooks traveled to Miami to interview Zara Pinnock at her clinic. Zara, looking pale and miserable, welcomed the detectives into her office. Zara's reaction and cooperation make it clear that she is also a victim of Marlon's deception, just like Emily. Although shocked and upset, Zara remained calm and provided detectives with all the information she knew about Marlon, including his schedule and behavior over the past few weeks. Zara said the last time she saw Marlon was on the evening of September 9th, when he left home on the pretext of work in Miami. Zara had no reason to doubt Marlon, but now she feels deeply betrayed. When asked if she had any reason to believe that Marlon could harm Emily, Zara replied that she never thought he was capable of such things. Marlon has always been very caring and thoughtful towards her, but now Zara doesn't know what to believe. Following Zara's interview, detectives Avery and Brooks reviewed her statement and verified her alibi. They confirmed that Zara was indeed at work the night Emily was murdered, and therefore she is not a suspect in the case. Zara's testimony provided insight into Marlon, both into his personality and possible motives. Zara's heartbreak and anger at Marlon's betrayal demonstrate that she has cooperated fully with the investigation, and detectives promise to keep her informed as the case progresses. Although Zara has been eliminated as a suspect, the focus of the investigation returns to Marlon. Detectives feel they are getting closer to the truth, but need more evidence to strengthen the case. On September 15, 2003, 5 days after Emily's murder, new evidence emerged. The weather that morning was sunny with a light breeze, providing some respite from the gloomy days. Around 9 a.m., Detective Avery received a call from Henry Guanabo, the owner of the local pawn shop. Henry announced that he had found a gold bracelet with Emily's initials in his shop. Detectives Avery and Brooks immediately went to Turner Pawn Shop on KLA Street, a famous shopping area in West Palm Beach. Although the store is small, it is filled with items ranging from used guitars to vintage jewelry. Henry gives the bracelet to the detectives and explains that a man tried to sell it 2 days ago. Detectives examined the bracelet and immediately recognized it as the one Emily often wore. Henry provides a description of the man selling the bracelet, and this description is very similar to Emily's close friend and colleague, Robert Banjovac. Detectives found this to be an important discovery. Henry took the bracelet to the police station for further analysis. At the police station, forensic experts confirmed that the bracelet belonged to Emily and found that the fingerprints on it matched Robert's. Detectives feel they are getting closer to solving the case. Later that day, detectives reviewed surveillance footage from businesses near the pawn shop. They discovered a clear image of Robert entering the store, wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses. This footage provides an important connection between Robert and the stolen bracelet. Detectives Avery and Brooks discussed next steps and decided to bring Robert in for questioning. The newly obtained evidence is crucial, and they hope that the interrogation will shed more light on the case. Detectives James Avery and Avery Brooks decided to interview Robert Banjovac at his home on September 16, 2003, the day after new evidence was discovered. Robert, a 49-year-old close friend and colleague of Emily's in the snake collecting community, is famous for his passion for reptiles and unrequited love for Emily. He had a history of mental instability and occasional violent outbursts, which put him on the radar of detectives. The weather that day in Florida was sunny with a few clouds. When detectives arrived at Robert's house, they noticed his nervous demeanor. Robert's house is modest but filled with snake tanks and reptile-related memorabilia. Robert, a tall, thin man wearing glasses, led the detectives into the living room with obvious anxiety. Robert and Emily had a close friendship, bonded by a common passion for snakes. They regularly attend reptile shows and events together. During the interview, Robert admitted that he knew about the problems in Emily's marriage to Marlon. Emily shared with him about Marlon's other wife, which left her heartbroken and uncertain about her future. This information helps detectives better understand Robert's potential motives. The unrequited feelings he had for Emily may have led to extreme actions. Robert's agitation increases as detectives continue to investigate his deep anger toward Marlon for hurting Emily. Robert repeatedly maintained that he never intended to harm Emily, but his history of mental instability and intense emotions made him the prime suspect. Robert provided a feeble alibi for the night of the murder, claiming that he was home alone taking care of his snakes. However, no witnesses confirmed this story. The detective notes Robert's growing distress as he expresses regret about not being able to save Emily and sadness over their incomplete relationship. The investigation continued to reveal that Robert had visited Emily's garden the day after the murder, although he insisted that the visit was to check on her snakes. The timing of this visit aroused suspicion, especially since neighbors reported seeing Robert's car leave on the night of the incident and return early in the morning, contradicting his statements about work at home. Detectives also dug into Robert's medical history, discovering that he had been treated for depression and anger issues in the past. The combination of his intense feelings for Emily and Robert's suspicious behavior creates a picture of a man capable of committing a crime. However, detectives need more concrete evidence to determine Robert's role in Emily's murder. They continued to monitor him closely and gather more clues to shed light on the case. A key breakthrough occurred on September 18, 2003, when detectives Avery and Brooks discovered new evidence in the overcast and damp weather of that morning. At the end of the summer in West Palm Beach, detectives worked tirelessly to connect the dots and identify the killer. New evidence suddenly emerges from an unexpected source: a neighbor's security camera. This camera, installed to monitor the backyard, recorded part of Emily's body in the yard on the night of the murder. The video shows Marlon Kenyon entering the backyard with a golf club and then leaving with blood on his clothes. When detectives Avery and Brooks reviewed the footage, they realized that this was exactly the evidence they needed. The video clearly showed Marlon present at the crime scene and using the murder weapon. Detectives prepare for Marlon's arrest, knowing that this will be an important step in bringing justice to Emily. At 3 p.m. under cloudy skies, detectives arrived at Marlon's office. Marlon is in a meeting to discuss financial planning with a client. Detectives waited in the hallway, watching through glass walls. Marlon appears confident and calm, unaware that a storm is about to enter his life. When the detectives entered the room and announced the arrest, Marlon's reaction was shock and anger. He loudly protested, took off all his clothes and asserted his innocence. The detectives handcuffed him and read him his rights while his colleagues watched in silence, shocked and stunned. Marlon's calm exterior finally shattered completely. Marlon was taken to the West Palm Beach Police Department to be questioned, but he continued to deny any involvement in Emily's murder. Even so, the evidence against him, including fingerprints and security footage, painted a clear picture of Marlon's guilt. As Marlon awaits trial, the local community grapples with the shocking revelations. Emily had been a beloved member of the community, and her murder left a deep scar in many lives. The arrest of her husband, who on the outside seemed charming and trustworthy, is a harsh reminder of the shadows that can lurk beneath the surface. Marlon Kenyon's trial for the murder of his wife Emily Kenyon began on December 1, 2004 at the West Palm Beach courthouse. The courthouse became abuzz with media attention, attracting reporters from local news stations, and the courtroom was filled with friends of Emily's family and curious onlookers, all of whom were eager to see justice served. The prosecution, led by Carla Matthews, a 40-year-old, seasoned lawyer with a reputation for her relentless pursuit of justice, presented a strong case. Matthews began by presenting shocking evidence, including security camera footage showing Marlon with a golf club, bloody clothes, and Emily's bracelet. During Marlon Kenyon's trial, prosecutor Carla Matthews argued that Marlon's motive was to silence Emily after she discovered his double life and threatened to expose him. Matthews emphasized that the evidence, including security camera footage, clearly demonstrated that Marlon was present at the scene with the murder weapon and blood-stained clothing. Defense attorney Mike Travian, a veteran attorney known for defending difficult cases, argued that Marlon was innocent. Travian argued that the evidence against Marlon was circumstantial and argued that Marlon's deep feelings for Emily were inconsistent with the crime he was accused of. He also proposed that Robert Banovac, a friend and colleague of Emily's, could be the culprit, jealous and angry with Emily for personal reasons. Emily's family watched the trial with a mixture of hope and grief. Her parents sat watching, hands clenched, and her sister kept wiping away tears. Testimony from friends and colleagues created a picture of a kind and loving woman whose life was tragically cut short. On December 15th, after weeks of testimony and 3 days of deliberations, the jury reached its verdict. The courtroom was silent as the foreman stood up to read the verdict. Marlon Kenyon was convicted of first-degree murder. The room was filled with whispers and cries, followed by hugs from Emily's family. Marlon was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Emily's brother addressed the court, emphasizing the severity of the betrayal and its impact on the family and community. Marlon, as he was led away and handcuffed, showed little emotion. His confident expression was completely gone, replaced by a blank look. The verdict and sentence brought a sense of justice to Emily's family and friends, although the pain of loss will never heal. They found solace in knowing that Marlon would pay for his crimes. The community also felt relief as the trial marked the end of a dark chapter. Emily's family, while continuing to cope with their loss, has found strength in the support of friends and community. Her parents established a scholarship fund in Emily's name at the University of South Florida to help snake lovers, continuing her legacy. Zara Pink, Marlon's second wife, faces her own challenges as she is shocked and heartbroken by her husband's betrayal and crimes. She decided to leave West Palm Beach and return to her hometown of Trenton, New Jersey. Robert Banovac, Emily's close friend and colleague, struggled deeply with her death. After the trial, Robert sought therapy to deal with his grief and mental health issues, and continued caring for Emily's snakes to keep her legacy alive. Marlon Kenyon, currently serving a life sentence, lives a quiet life in prison. His double life and the tragic consequences of his actions become a topic of discussion among inmates and prison staff. His downfall is a lesson in the destructive power of secrets and lies. Emily Kenyon's tragic death left a deep mark, and although justice has been served, the pain of her loss is still present. The community's efforts to honor her memory and support each other show the resilience and strength that can emerge even after devastating events. Emily Kenyon's story is a reminder of the fragility of trust and the devastating consequences of betrayal. Thank you for joining us on this episode of True Crime Case Files. Until next time, stay alert and stay safe. If you're interested in real-life murder mysteries, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. If you have thoughts on this case or have a case of your own you would like us to investigate, please leave us a comment. Until then, stay safe.